Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the
Loud Ones podcast.
I am your host, Nas B, and today we have a special guest, but we definitely don't want to miss out on Dany B.
Hey, y'all.
So we have a lovely guest with us today. This week's episode is going to be really interesting. We're going to be getting some information and talking to a former CEO and talk about what goes on inside Rikers Island. So I want to introduce, or should I let him introduce himself? You want to introduce yourself, sir?
I guess I can introduce myself. I'll go by Jerry J. That's enough. But I'm a former CEO on Rikers Island. I worked there for 3 years, from 2015 to 2018.
Oh, he's jumping right in.
I'm feeling that. That's it. You see, he's feeling the vibe.
Okay, so you worked in Rikers for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, okay, we want to so let's start from the beginning. Mm-hmm. How did you get into it, and did you always want to be a CEO?
All right, you're definitely not, but definitely got in because of the benefits and pay. Okay. And also mentorship. I had a few guys that I worked with that were former correction officers.
Yeah.
And the lifestyle that they were able to live in their early and late 40s was just a lifestyle that I was like, hey, if I can do the same thing and get even paid more, because we make more now than they were making, I was just like, all right, let me just see how fast I can get to my end goal.
Yes. Yeah. So that was what attracted you first.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So was it, I kind of want to understand, what was your first day like? Like, what was the first day as a CEO like?
First day.
Was it like shocking to you? Did it go exactly how it planned? Like, what was their first day experience?
So you do a lot of walkthrough. So it's like, you have a little week walkthrough where you're there, so you kind of get a good like concept of like what's going on, how to do the job, whatever. But I would say the first day by yourself, because there's the first day that you're there, but then the first day where you're by yourself, I would say it's a little surreal.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least for me it was. Maybe for the first hour, you're like, I'm really in jail. Like, and
was that your first time, like visiting a jail?
Yeah,
or being
definitely,
in jail?
definitely. Never had an experience on Rikers Island before I became a correctional officer.
Oh my
God, it was. I guess it lived up to the hype. I guess we'd say like just as bad as or dirty or not kept as they said it was.
Yeah. So what was the ages of the inmates that you?
Oh, so I worked in the adolescent facility. So I worked
the bad ones.
Well, what people say they're bad. I feel
ones.
Like they're just a little bit not guided.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
you know
the word.
What I mean?
I wouldn't say
immature.
bad.
They're
So
not
what?
Really bad.
Up to age 21?
No, so mine was just 16, 17 years old. So from 18 and up, they're in another facility.
Okay,
but it's still on the same.
Yeah. So on the island itself, there's 10 jails.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was only 4.
No, so Rikers Island is a city. It's a city in a city. Unfortunately.
So it's like its own little.
It's its own world. It's its own world.
Wow.
Only thing it's missing is a corner store.
Damn.
But it has everything else. Yeah,
Damn.
There's everything else on Rikers Island. Jeez. They make their own clothes, make their own soap.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Dead ass?
Yeah.
So all right. So like, what if y'all wanted to get something to eat? Y'all have to go off the island?
So you actually can't leave your facility.
Yeah, I heard.
So you have
that.
to bring your food in with you.
So what happens if you leave your lunch
at home?
Eating jail food.
Oh,
are you kidding me? Have you ever had?
You ever had any of those days?
But you would be.
How's the food?
You have to. I don't care who you are. You can be as bougie as you want to be. You're gonna eat something from there, because for the amount of time that you spend there, it's impossible.
Yeah,
it's impossible not to have cereal. Like there's packaged food, and then there's stuff that's out. So you pick and choose.
Y'all be stealing from the commissary?
Nah, that is a no. The ladies down in commissary, at least in my building, the ladies that ran commissary, they didn't play that.
So what was I guess like the best jail food that you had?
The fish sticks. They have fish sticks. That's probably the best
fire?
thing they got. Yeah.
Did they give y'all tartar sauce?
Yeah.
Oh, nah, that's lit.
That's probably the best thing they have. After that, I wouldn't trust the meat. Like, I didn't do any of like the burgers or
I wouldn't trust that.
Spaghettis and meatballs and stuff like that.
Is it like true that like the chefs in Rikers, like the inmates, they get to be a chef, like they can mix whatever they want in the back?
Oh,
like, they
see
make
this
their own
thing.
meals?
I don't have a lot of experience in the kitchen. So from what I know,
I know that's a dream job for a lot of inmates.
Right. From what it's just the movement. That's what makes it a dream job. It's not really because they get to cook. It's the movement and the access. Like, you got to understand, in a place where money is not tangible. So I can't give you $5 and then I get something back for it.
Food.
So I use food. So now it's like, you want this. You want some extra chicken. I work down in the commissary. Oh, I work down in the mess hall. I know I could get a few pieces back, and maybe you'll pay me in a phone call.
Okay.
And a phone call is another thing. It's not money, but if I can talk to my loved ones for 21 minutes, it's something that is, 2 pieces of chicken for a phone call.
That's okay.
We have a sale.
We have a sale. Okay.
I wanted, you had something, Dany? Because I wanted to ask you, like, what was one of your kind of most intense or craziest moments that you experienced one-on-one with an inmate?
I don't know if it was one-on-one. So I guess I have a few, right? I was there for a while, and it's like 3 years is 365 days a year, right? But it's also like we're there like 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
On average, like I would say not average, but like we had to average maybe like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
But for at least for my first year, I was clocked in 16 hours for 4 days a week on 4 days rotation. So you spend a lot of time there. So you do spend. There's a lot of memories. I would say I have. So the scariest, I guess, or eye-opening memory was like 2 days before Christmas within my first year, where a few officers got jumped in a housing area by the kids. It was like 6 kids and like 3 officers, and it was bad. It was like 2 of them had like fractured noses. The other one was messed up pretty bad too.
Damn.
So that was like that's when it was like the reality check of like, you're in jail. Remember that.
Did that? But were you ever involved in an altercation with?
Yeah, you have to be. It's no way you're not, unless you step back on every single situation. There's going to be a point where your back is against the wall. You can only take some.
Fight back.
Yeah,
so,
you have to do something
because they're people. They're gonna think you're pussy, like regardless.
Yes.
Like they're gonna keep trying you, like.
So
it's a real world.
That's actually real. It's honestly it's real.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not.
That's why I said I'm not built like that.
I'm not built like that.
I had that conversation with him.
I don't think anyone's really built for that, but I think like you adjust. You adjust to what you have to do.
So
it's the job.
Can you walk us through like one altercation that you had with an inmate?
My personal. It sounds so trivial, right? Because like as I'm
gonna say, it's not like what goes through your mind and like what happened and like everything.
So
like, how did you feel in that moment?
So quick synopsis, I guess, right? Okay. So I have to I did this thing in my housing area because in the housing area with the kids, you only have maximum 15 kids.
Yeah.
It keeps the peace.
Okay.
Right? Back in the day, they used to do 30.
Oh, wow.
Right? A lot of people, jail has changed. The load has gotten different. So it's like, so with the 15 max, I have a 15 max. What I do, I fill the first 15 cells. So I'll go one through, like on the right-hand side is odd, even left-hand side is even. So I'll fill up the first, not skipping a cell unless it's down, it doesn't work. We'll fill everything up. So I had a kid, I would think I was on vacation, and he was all the way in the back. So I don't like that in my housing area, just for the simple fact that it's not uniform. It's hard if you go to the back, right? Anything can kind of happen where it's like I can't control it in my reach.
Yeah.
It's only really one of me. So if 3 kids go to the back.
Wait, there's 1 CO to 15?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but that's not really much. You got to think about it.
That is a lot.
It is, but it isn't. Like, you got to think about.
What if they jump you or like they come together? Like
nothing.
Right. But that's the reality of the situation. But you have some housing areas with the now adults, they got 50.
For 1 CO?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's not.
Yeah.
That's.
I'm surprised they're not getting fucked up all the time.
No, they are. You just don't hear about it.
Damn.
That's the difference. That's the reality of the job. That no one's gonna boast that they got beat up. So you're not gonna see that on social media. It's not gonna really come out.
Damn. So what happened in that altercation?
It was just basically you gotta move. And I don't want to move. That's the fight right there, right? Like, you got to move. I don't want to move. So it gets to the point where like I just had to I physically just took his stuff and I moved it for him. So it was a lot of talking more than an altercation, I would say. It's more like I'm gonna threaten you and, kind of like see how far I could push this. And it goes to words and everything, but it doesn't amount to much.
So how does that impact you mentally? Like,
you go crazy.
Because I can't imagine, like, if I'm stuck in a jail 16 hours and then, like, having threats consistently thrown at me, and then I'm maybe tested physically, you know what I mean? And then, like, I would be paranoid to go home. Like, because Rikers is not one of those places people are, like, 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? They get released.
At some point.
Right.
You could be in a club with one of them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the reality. It's tough. So I would say it's like twofold. If you're an a-hole, you're going
You could curse, by the way.
Yeah, it's good. I'm
just letting you know.
It's cool. But so it's like your personality and who you are is going to shine through wherever you're at. So if you're going to be fake and you're going to act like you're macho and tough because you got a little shield on yourself now. Yeah. You got a little pepper spray.
There's people who do that.
There's people who do that.
A lot of people.
And then those are the people who can't go to the grocery store in their neighborhood, though. Because now you're watching your back because it's like, did I curse the wrong person? Did I curse someone out? You're doing all these things. But if that's not who you are, like I feel like there was not, maybe it might have been, but I never felt like I had to be scared in the street. Definitely had to watch myself. But not that, this kid that I did something so terribly to, if I see him on the street, he's gonna try to kill me.
Are you allowed to carry your gun still?
Yeah.
Okay, because
that's lit.
Yeah. So you gotta work. You gotta work. You gotta work your way around it. It's not like, I'm not gonna say it's not legal. It's legal, but it's not like how it was when there's rules now. So when I, when I was a CO, it was anywhere and everywhere. Like anywhere that can allow me to flash my badge to say that I can carry this, I had it on me. Yeah. Especially like Barclays. So the Barclays allows you to bring your firearm if you're law enforcement. I'm not going to the Barclays without a gun.
Yeah,
at that, you know what I mean? At that time, I'm not going to the Barclays without a gun. But now it's different. I can't do that anymore. I don't have that luxury. But that doesn't mean that firearm is still not mine, and I can't protect,
yourself, right?
Myself.
So you license, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so you get to keep it?
Yeah, it's my gun. I bought it. So it's not like NYPD.
They don't give it to you.
Yeah, NYPD, when you graduate NYPD after doing the 6-month academy, they give you your gun on the stage. So if you leave, you give that gun back. With corrections, their academy, they don't give you a firearm. You have to go get You have to go get paperwork signed by your commanding officer to get one. So then after that's mine. Like that's my money. I paid for that. So
do you have a name for it, by the way?
No.
No, there's people who really be having names and shit.
Imagine if he pulled out his gun like, this is my Johnny Hancock.
Like, I don't know. This is Barry. I don't know.
This protection. That's what it's called.
Johnny Hand Glock. That's what it should. Damn, that's a good one. Johnny Hand Glock.
So I want to get into like the brotherhood of being a CO.
Yeah. Definitely tight.
How is that? Because it's like an eye for an eye. Like I look out for you, you look out for me, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But have you been in situations? Because I hear about the corruption. You see the corruption in Rikers. Like, do you turn a blind eye? Do you? Because I know you personally, so I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out how do you react because it's work and a brotherhood, and at the same time, if something happens to you, you want people to look out for you.
Right. I would say it's so many layers to this cake. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's definitely a brotherhood, but it's not the brotherhood that people think.
Oh. Okay.
So it's like it's definitely brotherhood, band in blue, all that stuff, but it's not like you think. You don't have a. When someone's scared, genuinely scared, you cannot count on them.
That's true. Ooh, that's so true. You cannot count on them. It's so true.
You can have someone. You can have someone with you. Listen, man. Anything go down, man. I got you. The minute it goes down, you got to snap them into shape. Like, yo, come on. This is the go down part.
This is the moment. Right now
that we were talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do something. Yeah. Some people run. Some people watch. Some people do not help. So it is, and so it's tough, like, to speak on the corruption side now. Like, is there really corruption? I would say there's some COs that's not doing what they're supposed to do, like any job. There's someone at McDonald's right now who didn't put the burger at 150. He put it at 122.
That's true.
That's every job, but that's not every one.
So here's a question that I have that's gonna kind of be a little bit more to the layer. Do you feel like there's a lot of like racism in there when it comes to like.
That's tough for me because like I'm a black man. I was a CO, right? A lot of I'm not gonna say, they call them clients now. The inmates are black and brown men.
Yes.
So it's when you say racism is tough because we're policing us. There's the corrections is heavily African American.
I do know
heavily
a lot of
African American, heavily Caribbean, heavily just black people.
Damn.
But what,
so it's.
Are there still those old? I don't even know, but like those older COs that's been there for a while that happen to be white. They've been there through different times.
Of course, definitely they're there. They have a different mindset.
Yeah,
they've seen different things too. So just like I would say, like when they were in, I guess, power, right, or they were the majority, they ran it different. Definitely,
yeah.
This person doesn't even look like them, and I don't like you. I don't want you in my name. I don't care about you, right? So they definitely hold on to those morals, but they're like 50.
Yeah,
they're like, it's different. Like they're working the front gate. Where
the older people don't work in the back.
Yeah, they're not in the jails anymore. Like they can talk to you about what they did 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But right now, who's in behind the gate? You talking about young 21 to 29-year-olds are in there. And don't get me wrong, there's older people in there too because the job is older as well. New people are 35 just getting on, stuff like that. Yeah. But like the average is kids going in there now. Kids who didn't get a job after college.
Need some money.
They need some money.
Good benefits.
Good benefits. Their mommy was a CO. Their daddy was a CO.
Yeah.
So they know the lifestyle they could live. They lived it already. You know what I mean? I have a lot of people I went in with who like, listen, I already know what I could do with this money because they seen it already.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was a little different. I was like question marks. Like, let me see.
Let's see what this is about.
So it's not that I would say it's tough for me when it says racism because it's like we look just like them.
Damn.
The kid in one cell looked just like me when I was 15.
Wow.
You don't look no different.
That's probably like that's probably like eye opening to see like damn like look at these little kids coming in here
and
with
probably thinking like that could have been me if
that could have been me.
And a lot of it was
my best friend
just wrong turns.
Yeah, my best friend he he messed up when he was younger, and he ended up going to Rikers. I believe it was RNDC. I don't remember.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah.
If he was a kid, that's where he went.
He was, and he went in there, and it was kind of like when I went there, like I felt like they treated the people that were visiting like they were. Like they were inmates too. Like this is my first time going there. I'm 19.
Yeah.
My best friend went in when he was 17 or whatever. I was 19. We're like 2 years different from each other. And I went in there and I didn't know like you can't. I'm like I had like 3 or 4 fights in my whole lifetime. Like I've never even been in jail, been arrested, any of that. So I know nothing about like the, I guess, jail system.
Yeah.
And I go in there and I have like a bun, but it's like pinned. And it's like a weave bun too. Like it was pinned, and they made me take every single pin out.
Yeah.
And I had on a shirt where you could barely see my bra. It was like a white shirt, and I had on a blue bra, but it was like a dark blue bra.
Yeah.
And they made me put on this long green shirt that goes down to your knees. I had on jeans. It's like stuff like that makes you feel like, damn, like I'm still a human being. Like I'm coming here to see someone that made a mistake, yes, but damn, still treat me like a human.
Yeah.
So I would say so just to speak from the other side of that, right?
I understand why they do that,
right.
though.
There is a security measures. There's security measures that have to be put in place for the protection of everybody.
That's true.
And sometimes the way that those measures are enforced, it's not gonna make you feel good, you know? So like one of the measures, right, the pins in your hair, right? You took X amount of time to do your hair, you come to see someone, now they make you take those out. That same pin
could hurt somebody
very, very bad. So if they don't make you take it out, right, you came with good intentions, right? What about the person that didn't?
Which is
what
true.
What about the inmate wife who's like, no, I know you have problems in there. I'm gonna bring you something.
Yes.
And I'm gonna pin it in my hair, and then when they not looking, I'm just gonna take it out, slip it to you.
Right.
So it's tough because it's like, yes, you have the innocents people who come in, who are hardworking, who just had someone who just made a mistake. They come in to see them, but you have to treat them just like the person who's passing the drugs, just like the person who's passing the material that hurt other people in
Do
there.
people still try that with contraband?
That's how you live.
But
you have
like
to.
cigarettes and stuff like that. Like,
I would say,
is cigarettes still considered contraband?
Yeah, cigarettes definitely contraband, but it's like they'll do it differently. So they won't, like, it's just disgusting to even talk about. But like they'll do more tobacco. You know what I mean? They won't do a cigarette because a cigarette now, in its the way that it is, that's hard to like for me to pass it. But if I break down the tobacco, put it in my jail pocket, which is pocket in your butt. So
I didn't get it at first. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's your jail pocket.
They don't have pockets.
They don't have pockets
People
in jail.
really do that shit?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
No, I mean no, but is it that common?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, very common.
But, like,
very common.
I would say the big grizzly tough dude that, you know,
He's
in and out of jail, all of that, he probably put things in and out his butt so easy at this point in his life. It's scary.
I'm looking at everybody different.
It's scary. They know how to go get it. They put strings on it, so it's like a little string hanging out the butthole, and it's like pull it out.
Do you have to do those checks?
Yeah, you do.
You gotta cough.
You gotta cough. You gotta squat. You gotta lift.
You gotta open the butthole.
Yeah,
did that make you uncomfortable?
Hell yeah.
You looking at booty holes? You a straight man.
Yeah,
of course you're gonna be
of
uncomfortable.
course, but
Yo.
you know, it's different if I was doing it.
Niggas
I'm not doing
hairy
this.
asses. Son, niggas have hairy. I can't put my face. If I was an inmate,
you don't put your face.
No, you don't put your face in it. They're doing it at a distance. So
oh,
it's
come
like,
on, say niggas probably
They
farting.
assholes probably stink.
No.
They probably farting and shit,
They're doing it at a distance. It's like we're gonna keep our distance and everything. So the biggest thing in jail, you got to keep your distance. There's my space and your space, and we don't cross those boundaries. So that's how you stay safe. So there's always space.
Do they still? Have you ever got? All right, I know this person who's a CO, and she told me that like someone threw piss at her.
So I can say, right?
Has that happened to you?
I've never experienced that.
Oh, so you really lucky.
You know what I would say?
Because
It's
the
like
stories I hear
He
from
probably was
people,
a kind person.
I would say I would say I was fair. I wouldn't say kind because you can't really be kind and not get walked on. So it's like I was fair. I definitely enforced the rules as needed to be.
Yeah.
But I also had I'm still a person.
Yeah.
So I'm dealing with kids who look just like me. Right.
Yeah.
So for the most part, like I
compassion.
definitely worked with adults and things like that. But most of my time when I worked there, I was with the kids. Yeah. So it's different. It's even though they're wild, they're unruly, they're all these things, they still kids. So if you treat them like a kid, you act like a kid.
Right.
So no, you're tough. You're baby from the block. Everybody know you. You're a gangster. You here for murder. Okay, but you're a child, and I could tell you to fold your bed. And then I could tell you why you need to fold your bed. And I could tell you how dirty it is, how it looks if you don't do it. You know what I mean?
They'll get it down.
Yeah, like you'll get it. It's not like I didn't rule with an iron fist. That wasn't the way that I was able to be a CO. That didn't work for me. But I ruled with law and order. I had order.
Which is
okay,
understandable.
Which is fair.
So just one more question.
Oh, because I have one that I really wanted to ask.
I wanted to ask about, like, you know, did you ever have any inmates that you positively
definitely. I would say
had good relationships with?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I got a few of my guys, Naseem Pearson, Tykendu Richardson.
Damn.
Those are my two guys right there, I would say.
That's so good.
Yeah, those,
how did you make a positive impact? Or how did you build that relationship?
One, they were who they came in like that. They came in good people.
Yeah.
Outside of their crimes.
What were they in there for?
I'm not gonna say they're like the crime just because I said their names already. So I'm not gonna say what they were in there for. But I would say that they were more than the crime that they committed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Everybody makes mistakes.
They made a mistake. They come from environments where you have to, you do certain things to protect yourselves, and those things land you in jail. Yeah. So that's all it was. But they were the people that they needed to be before I got to them. What I helped them with was understanding that they could, like, do you see it?
Damn.
You know what I mean?
That's
Do you
so
see it?
Great.
So they both were able to earn both of them got their GEDs and their high school while they were in there. So that was big for me because it was like Tykendu, he had like 42 credits. He was done.
Damn.
He came in done. Like this is like I said, he was a ready to finish product. I didn't make him who he was.
Yeah.
He was already finished.
But, he finished it out. He could have came in there, hung his head, and said, "F you, I'm not doing nothing."
But
you know what I mean? But he did what he was supposed to do. You know, he got anything that you could have gotten extra, he did it.
Damn, that's so great. Shout out to him.
Are you able to maintain those relationships?
I haven't been able to, just because when they were released, so when Nasim, when he was released, I was still a CO. So it's one of those things where you can't do that. Because, let's say he comes back. Now it's a whole big conflict of interest, all this stuff, right? Of course. And then Ty Kendall, I left right before he was due to actually go upstate. He had to go upstate. So I left right before he was due to go upstate.
Okay.
So that was that broke off in a sense as well. But it's one of those things where it's we gonna cross paths again.
Yeah,
and
so
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
we gonna cross paths, and when we do,
dope.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one. I guess one of my last questions. What is the craziest thing that you saw someone in there for?
Crazy is as far as
because I'm thinking about their age,
at their age.
I would say for that murder is crazy. Like that to me at 16, 17 to have a body.
That's a lot. Yeah,
that's
that's a lot.
Like I seen 2 to 3 of them went away. 22 to life, 18 to life.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. This one kid.
Damn, that's his whole life.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a life.
No, see, and this is the crazy part, right? I had this one kid who went away. He got 22 to life, and it was so crazy because he's 16, 17. You didn't live 22 years, right?
Yeah.
So you have 22 to life. You didn't even live that, but his whole mindset was my dad's away for life. I could do it too.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Wow.
It's bigger than Rikers Island. It's bigger than what people are making it seem.
It's just a system.
It's a system of oppression that's making these kids think that these are the lifestyles they have to live, and that
there's nothing better.
And there's nothing better for them out there. This is the top. This is it. And until we break those bonds, they tied up right now. They don't even see it. And it's until we can break that,
those barriers,
we're gonna be talking about this forever.
Yeah, because I have somebody I know who's like I said who's a CO, and their perspective is just that's all they're gonna be.
Yeah,
and that's kind of crazy because. I could only imagine, your experience is really different, and you're going there with a different mindset. But there's people who really go in there your daddy was here, you gonna be here, or you not nothing.
You're not nothing.
That's it, and not giving these kids no hope. So when they go back in the street, you know what I mean, the first thing they might do is fuck up and come back.
Right.
And
that's the only thing they know.
That's all they know. They only know how. Some of them is in there for survival. My man Drew. He was in there. This boy is a kid. This kid comes from a home where his mother's a gang member.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So it's he was indoctrinated into a lifestyle that he was taught was okay. Yeah. So what is he actually doing wrong?
Nothing.
What are the gangs in there? Is it the
Still
same
Crip and Blood? A lot of it's Crip and Blood, and then a lot of town gangs. You know,
a
lot of my block, your block type of situations.
Okay. Yeah. Is it to the extent where in the adult jails where they have the Muslims,
they're not as organized.
The Aryans and the...
Nah, I wouldn't say all of that.
Okay.
Because that's prison. That's more prison life.
Okay,
remember, jail is in and out. Yeah. But so when they go upstate, they meet. That's when a lot more stuff go down. But on Rikers Island, you're dealing with city issues.
City issues.
So you're dealing with. I'm from East Flatbush versus you from this side, or you know what I mean. You're dealing Crown Heights versus this side. You're dealing with South Side, North Side. You're dealing with Pelham Bay and this project and that project. You're dealing with more of that as an issue.
So, just to wrap up, what was your breaking point? What made you leave?
Yes.
I think my breaking point was just understanding that I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
I could do the job, and obviously I did it for an amount of years, and I was fine. I still got my head on my shoulders. I'm doing all right.
Okay.
But it was that I was making a lot of money, which was amazing. I was doing whatever I wanted, so that was great too. But I just realized I wasn't doing anything for anyone else.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that was just money's not. I can't just have money for the rest of my life. That's not going. It wasn't filling me up like I thought it would.
Yeah, it's not fulfilling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. This was a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to have a part 2 with the other side, speaking with an inmate. So definitely want to get their experience. So I want to definitely thank our guest for this week, Jerry.
Thank
Jay.
you so much. This is such a fulfilling episode.
Yes, thank you for sharing your experience with us. And our viewers, thank you, because I know they're definitely going to be interested in this conversation.
Oh, just wanted to shout you guys out. You guys really been supporting us.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Like,
thank you.
We've reached almost 2,000.
It was 2,300.
55
countries.
In 55 countries.
Oh, okay,
you guys are great.
Like, shout out to because it's South Africa, Europe, all you guys.
Yeah, Jamaica.
Shout out to you guys. Jamaica. Yes, Jamaica.
Y'all been holding it down.
South America. I want to really thank you guys because you guys are awesome, and I know you love that Vibes Cartel episode. So thank you.
We're gonna be bringing more. Don't worry, y'all.
Yes, yes. So Jerry, do you want to shout out anything? Do you want to plug anything?
Any businesses, anything like that, real quick?
I guess the last 2 cents. I would say just keep your mind and eyes open. It's not always what you think it is.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else you want to plug?
Your IG.
Oh, I guess I'm new to this. Sorry.
Yes, that's all you want to plug. Listen, okay, we're giving you free promo.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. My Instagram name is Free Lunch. That's FREEE_lunch. Food is for the soul.
Damn, I like that. Thank you.
So follow us on IG, Twitter. Twitter is
Loud. The Twitter is Loud Ones Podcast.
Yes, and IG is the Loud Ones Podcast. Follow me at always_Nas. And Dany, what's yours?
Dany Bonaducci.
And guys, she's not gonna spell it for you guys, but if you see the heading say hot and ready, that's Dany.
Me.
That's Dany's. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Loud Ones Podcast. Thank you.